Where I think I've been most helpful to my clients is building on something that comes naturally to me, which is making the most of my time. And while I've done a number of podcasts, YouTube videos, and articles on the subject, I haven't done something very concrete which may be more helpful. We don't know. We'll find out. Another experiment here, which is to describe my routines during the day. Having routines in itself is helpful because you've honed it to what works regularly. But also my specific routines, I think, are particularly likely to help me get a lot done, and maybe will help you do so. And again, the goal is not for you to follow all these things, but if you could find one or two nuggets in these, I'm going to be very time effective and brief in this podcast. Hopefully it'll be therefore worthwhile and maybe even vaguely entertaining. I want to start with my morning routine. Because I go to bed not at a regular bedtime. I don't have a routine there. It's when I feel tired. Sometimes as early as 11 o'clock, sometimes as late as 12:30. And I just sleep naturally. Whenever I get up, I get up. Like 6-7 hours of sleep as I get older, that's all I need. And then the first thing I do, no matter what, is my dog is aware when I wake. I hug my doggy, pet my wife, and then immediately go upstairs and feed him, and go up to my desk, check my email, and then immediately take the dog for my morning hike and get him to go on empty. I have a new favorite, which I love. I've been doing it every day now for a couple of months, which is about a mile, quite hilly, which ends up at a cafe I love, Quiet Cafe, that opens 7 in the morning. I'm usually there. It's about 7:30. And I sit there with my morning coffee and think about my clients for the day. What do I need to do to be well prepared? What am I going to be writing? What do I need to think about my writing? And I enjoy the coffee and chat with the baristas and the denizens a little bit in between. And of course my dog is there with me, even though it's in violation of California health laws, but he's there with me, very sweet. Also a good topic of conversation. Then I hike back and I start with my writing. And then after that I take a shower, eat breakfast, and then see my first client of the day, which I do. I see all clients all day. And then I go and see my wife. My wife and I live separately, which works. I'm grateful we can afford it, but it really works best. We're both hard workers. She's superintendent of schools in Napa County. She's required to live there. I have a busy practice in Oakland, California, but every night I don't mind at all. And this is kind of an efficient thing. I drive the 45 minutes to see my wife, and usually I'm listening to a podcast, and therefore growing, or listening to an audiobook. And also relaxing. I just find driving in a car very relaxing, even in the unbelievable traffic that is increasing even in the evening. Then Barbara and I spend a couple hours hanging out, or playing with the dog, or watching TV, or playing gin, and suddenly we'll be counting each other's days, a little hugging. And then, believe it or not, I drive back home the same night again, listening to the audiobook, go to sleep, and repeat. That ritual has worked very well for me, efficiency. By the way, during those 2 hours, I do not work, but I am working nonstop pretty much from 7 in the morning until I leave for Barbara, which is usually around 7 o'clock at night. Writing ritual. People ask, how the hell did I write 27 books and 6,000 articles? The key is to not be too perfectionistic, write crappy first drafts. I usually just take notes, think. And again, whether I'm at my cafe or I have a chair which I see clients, my in-person clients, and I will sit in that chair and muse on what I'm going to write. I keep a pad next to that chair, and I make additional notes. And then I don't get too perfectionistic with those very limited notes, little few word notes about topics. I just start to write usually from the beginning and go to the end and write a crappy first draft. Keep revising. I usually revise something 10 times before I publish it. I play piano concerts, one a quarter. I'm very honored that I get to give those at the Orinda Community Center, a beautiful outdoor large patio, and what I do there because it's every quarter, it's a welcoming of the season, welcoming summer, welcoming fall, welcoming winter, welcoming spring. Right after I finish my last one, I start making a list of the songs that I would like to play for the new one, and then I don't even begin to practice at all until a few days before, and then I practice, because I play only by ear and it keeps evolving. The more times I play it, I'll play it a half dozen times, and then right before I'm ready to do the concert, I will make a YouTube of what I'm planning to do, so that's kind of like a dress rehearsal, and that's what I do. And in terms of this podcast, again, I don't believe in scripting. All I do is talk about what I think I have. I do them not on a regular schedule. I will do these when I feel I have something important to say. So, for example, I had this idea this morning when I was at the cafe about doing one on routines, which is what I'm doing for you now. I simply made a list of all the different routines that I thought would be interesting to talk about, and put one. All I wrote is the words routines: morning, including breakfast, clients, writing, Barb, my wife, concert. Oh yeah, board of advisors. I didn't do that. Every once a month, I convene a group of 6 guys who I respect for their intelligence and kindness and ability to be good in a group. They're not too interruptive. And we meet by teleconference once a month. The morning of, I simply send them a reminder. And then we have our 1-hour meeting, which is precisely from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. First 3 minutes are a little grace so people don't feel rushed if they have to be 2 or 3 minutes late, but I don't want to punish the people who are on time. I start at 7:03 and I say, okay, who's got an issue you want to bring up? Somebody will bring up an issue. The group will politely offer input, and then at the end, when the person decides he's had enough, he says, "Thank you, I'd like to cede the floor," and then somebody else goes. If we run out of topics, I say, who would like to report on something that's going on in their life, a question, an issue they want to pontificate on, or whatever, and we have been meeting for over a decade, and it's an excellent group, and that routine works very well. Anyway, that's it. I think that's all I want to share with you. I encourage you to set up your own routines. Maybe there's a lesson in the routines that I've developed. Oh, by the way, my breakfasts and my meals are very simple. Typically, non-fat, unflavored yogurt with fresh fruit. If it's warm, or if I want something, if it's cold, I'll have typically oatmeal with a handful of essentially trail mix in it. And lunches are typically a sandwich like tuna fish or turkey or whatever, and or a large salad that I make with blue cheese and cherry tomatoes and vinaigrette dressing. And dinner tends to be a broiled piece of chicken or beef and steamed broccoli, and then fruit or yogurt for dessert. Very fast, very easy, very cheap. You don't have to be rich to eat healthy and well. Anyway, those are my routines. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And I do like to end every podcast with what I think is an aphorism that is more valuable today than ever in my lifetime. We find comfort among those who agree with us, growth among those who don't.